You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
I'm not ready to end the fight. I'm not ready to back down. 'Cause I've been through hell and I don't have time to go round and round and round. It's too late to turn back now. You know I wouldn't if I could. 'Cause I'm proud as hell. I can't bring myself to do what it is you think I should.
All right, right, folks. Well, happy Tuesday evening. We've survived Monday. Now we've made it through Tuesday. We're rounding the corner to Wednesday. So for those of you with Saturday and Sunday off, you lucky bastards, congratulations. You're almost halfway done. For those of you that are like Jen and I that pretty much work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sun up, sun down, never sleep, keep it up because, eventually it'll pay off. All right. So anyway, lots of stuff going on this week. First of all, I want to give a shout out to somebody that I've been talking to a little bit lately who I think I actually have convinced to come hang out with us on Thursday. You may remember him from Game On with JD and Stacy. Mr. JD himself is actually talking about coming and hanging out with us on Thursday. I'm so excited.
I'm super excited. I miss hearing him on the radio, and I'd be so happy to be on with him for a little bit.
That would be
He is so funny.
That would be awesome. So, lots of stuff going on for you, so I guess next week's pretty much off the table for us because you have a requirement for work-related stuff that's definitely going to get in the way starting next week, which is fine, even though it was kind of last minute and my feels are hurting. No, I'm just playing.
Oh my gosh, it gets so crazy, and I always think that I'll have an hour or two to myself here or there, and it never ends up working out. So it's better to just throw in the bucket on it.
Well,
really.
I can relate. Here it is. It's 9:21. We usually start about 21 minutes ago. There was a track meet today that apparently I completely forgot about because I've been running in 20 million different directions, and the wife finally comes out and says, "Hey, he just texted me, so I've got to get his food ready and go over there." I'm like, okay, well, it's a good thing I hadn't hit the broadcast button yet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
well, and for
joys of
me,
doing
it'll
a
be
show from your living room.
Man, and next week, and I don't mind saying kind of generally what it is, but I manage events, and my biggest time of year is South by Southwest right here in Austin, Texas. So I'm actually starting after the show tonight. I'm actually going to one of my venues, and we have an overnight build. So it's starting crazy and fast.
You have fun with that. I'm going to be over here still waiting to hear back from this job that I applied for. That the posting finally closed for, which means eventually I will get an answer one way or the other.
That's good.
So anyway, speaking of answers, I think the Republicans have a few things to answer for, because I don't know about you, but I'm a little pissed.
I haven't had a lot of time to dive into the logistics. I've just been reading, little tidbits here and there from people, putting out some of their analysis on it. And man, how could they have messed this up anymore other than just flat out keeping Obamacare?
Well, they basically are keeping Obamacare. They're changing a few things around the edges. They're tightening up a couple things that they were concerned about, but they're still going to basically shore up the fact that the government will now be the end-all, be-all, and sole existence of healthcare in this country, which is apparently what both sides want now, even though one of them told us they didn't.
Even though it's what they've run, almost every Republican has run on some semblance of a platform of repealing Obamacare, of getting rid of, our version of kind of socialized healthcare, and they are just big time failing. Which I wish I could say I was surprised, because POTUS, basically said as much the entire time he was campaigning.
But in a surprise move, Trump has decided to make Trump Care a trilogy, and he's going to roll it out in pieces.
We told you so, people.
Dude, seriously. I have actually seen some Trump supporters that, this time last year when I'm like, hey, you're not listening to what he said right here in this video. Oh, shut up. You're a traitor. You're a cuck. And now they're all like, oh, my God, this was the last straw. He's breaking one of his biggest promises. And I'm over here going, where's the popcorn? Because I told you.
Yep, it's absolutely right. It's so disappointing. And people are, rightfully freaking out and are really pissed. And I just wonder how that's going to play out here over the next couple months with all of these representatives, all of our congressmen in general, hearing from the public. But hasn't seemed to make much of a difference so far, so who knows?
Yeah, it's annoying to me because, I remember Republicans saying words like access to insurance doesn't guarantee access to healthcare, which is a true statement, by the way. And now all of a sudden it's, we're going to make insurance more affordable. Yeah, really? How exactly are you planning on doing that? Because the one thing that honestly would have done that, they're not even rolling out to like phase 2 or phase 3. I mean, look, if you really, really wanted to make things better, the first thing you would do is just come in, you would kill Obamacare, you would set up something to make sure that the people that are uninsurable by most standards have access to expanded Medicaid, but only those people. And then you could make sure that everybody else that has access to regular health care, you make it to where the insurance companies can compete with one another across state lines. That would fix 99.9% of the problems in our country right now, and it would be easy to do. Much easier than the stuff that they're talking about now, because now they're talking about, well, we're going to do this in phase 1, we're going to do this in phase 2, and we're going to do this in phase 3, and all of this should be done by 2020. Y'all going to be lucky if you're still in office in 2018, 2019, with the crap that you're pulling right now. And you're talking about rolling things out in multiple phases. Are you insane?
Right. And here's my thing is, basically you were pretty much, but the way that the left has been acting and the way that the Dems have been conducting themselves, you were pretty much all but guaranteed to coast through to 2020 and coast through like all of it. And now they want to, basically chuck it all over this ridiculous bill.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't get it, because you're right. With the way the left has been behaving and the way the leftist media has been behaving, and the fact that, I mean, the one thing that Trump is doing well is he's playing them like a fiddle, because everybody's all dancing around about these, did the Russians do this, did the Russians do that, and nobody's paying attention to the fact that the Congress is trying to extend the debt ceiling to the point where it's basically unlimited. Now they're basically trying to pass Obamacare light. And nobody's paying attention to any of those things because we're too busy worrying about whether or not the CIA is using our cell phones and our laptops and our TVs, our smart TVs, and our satellite and cable boxes to spy on us.
Oh, I just think that what happened? What happened to this country? What happened to the Republican Party? What happened to my little political world I thought I was living in? It has just all gone to crap.
I honestly don't see any way back from this, because I mean it reminds me of something that somebody said on Twitter a week ago. It was just about a week ago, because it was right after Trump finished his joint session speech, and we were talking about the fact that there were so many leftist talking points all over that speech, and somebody tweeted out, well, it's not surprising because the left has gone uber left and now the right has gone left as well, just not as far left. And the more I see, the more I understand that unfortunately that is not a false statement. Now, I'm not saying all of the right has gone to the left, because I know plenty of people that consider themselves right-leaning that are still over here scratching their heads going, what the hell are you people doing, and why are you not doing what we sent you to D.C. to do again? But, it's just one of those things where what do we have to do? I mean, at this point, they kept telling us, in 2008, when we saw everything that Obama was going to be doing, they said, they started saying, give us the majority back in Congress and we'll make sure this gets fixed. And then we started trying to work on it, didn't quite get there. And by the time 2012 rolled around, they were like, give us the White House, we'll get it fixed. We tried, didn't get there, but we got majority back in both houses at that point. And now in 2016, 2017, we gave them everything. And they're doing the exact same things the Democrats were doing. Well, this is too important. It's like when they were talking about the banks back in 2008. Too big to fail. Healthcare is too important. We can't not do something about this. Okay, so if we can't not do something about it, then can we do the right thing? I mean, look, I don't want to have socialized medicine. I really don't. But at this point, if you guys are dead set on having it, can we just make sure that the people that really, really, really can't afford access to health coverage get some sort of access to health coverage, and then let the rest sort itself out? I mean, is that really too much to ask at this point? Because obviously you guys on both sides have decided we're going to have it whether we want it or not. So can we at least ramp back the amount that we have it? Or are you guys just going to keep ramming it all down our throats?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're going to, and it's a little bit. It's more of the same. Of like, we are the legislatures. We know better than you. It's what we despised about the Democrats in charge, and it seems like the GOP is going to go the same way, but not even go the same way in favor of more traditional GOP platform, but for the Democratic platform, basically. They're going to uphold and keep going with what they view as their goals. And it's just really kind of frustrating because, like we said, they've run against Obamacare and against this type of, mandated of any kind, a health insurance, health coverage. And here we are, like you said, handing them everything. We did not elect them to adjust and make it a little bit less than what the Democrats had done. We elected them on what they ran off of, which was repeal, which was to fix, some more underlying problems within, healthcare regulation and not make this, Obamacare light.
And that's basically exactly what they're doing. I mean, I've read through the little bit that's been put out about this, and it's just insane to me because, I mean, I don't get it. You guys told us that if we gave you DC, you would get rid of Obamacare. Then it all of a sudden became, well, we're going to repeal Obamacare, but then we're going to replace it with something better. We don't need to replace it with something better. Our healthcare system was fine before Obamacare. Yes, there were issues with it. I'm not saying it was perfect. I said it was fine. There are things that could have been addressed without taking the whole thing apart, putting it back together, and making it the monster that it is right now. And now the same people that were telling us government overreach is bad, that government control and too much control is bad, are doing everything they can to shore up the same control that they were just screaming about. While on the other hand, putting out legislation to completely gut the EPA and do a handful of other things, which I don't necessarily think are terrible, because it would stop a lot of the government overreach in a lot of other ways. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say this type of government overreach is bad, but this kind is okay, and then vice versa. It's either government overreach is bad or government overreach is okay. I'm a firm believer that government overreach is bad, period, and things need to be done to make sure that we don't get to a point where our government has too much control. Giving them the ability to ultimately decide, because whether anybody wants to admit it or not, this is where this will go. At some point, our government will be able to decide who has access to healthcare and who doesn't. If you don't believe me, look what already goes on in other countries that have had this type of system and worse for much longer. There are groups of people that decide when you get treatment, how you get treatment, and how long you get treatment based on a set of variables that they use. And that is where we are headed if this happens. And that is why I will continue to fight it tooth and nail, and why I said over and over again and played the clip a million different times that kept talking about how Donald Trump wanted to do nothing but basically bring us into more of a socialized healthcare system than even Obama did, because even he said that much.
Right. And I think, it's also just bottom line important to remember that there is no right enumerated in the Constitution that allows the federal government to control our healthcare system. And everybody can say what they want to about how, but that's not, they didn't have health insurance, and they didn't this, and they didn't that, and they didn't blah, blah, blah. Of course they didn't. But they knew that things were going to come about that could be overly regulated, that could be forced on people. And this is one of those things. I mean, there are lots of regulations like it in various industries that I think have no business being there. And if you look at it pragmatically and not with an emotional tug on your heartstrings about that one poor family that can't afford this, that, or the other, but by the way, can still walk into a hospital or a clinic and get treatment for ailments and for sickness. So they're not just, this whole dying in the streets and the blood running free like that. That's not that didn't happen before. It wouldn't happen now. And so if you take away the emotional aspect of it and look at it like, any other industry, the government has no business being a part of it. And that's the bottom line. And that's what, usually conservatives and the GOP have believed. And, this is always the kind of thing that happens when a government gets too much control and they grow too big. And when something like Obamacare gets put in place, I said it back then, it's never going away, not in total. So we have some form of this from here on out. And they said, no, we're going to get rid of it. And here we are with them having complete control, and we're not getting rid of it. So I feared this would happen way back when it was passed initially. And it's just, once you grow something like that, it's always hard to walk it back.
No, exactly, and those were the same type of fears that I had when I realized that this was starting, because it's no different than any other government program. Once a government program gets started, it never actually stops. They can do everything they can to try to curtail it, change it, roll it back, whatever they decide to do, but it never actually goes away. And it's one of the reasons why I warned people from the beginning that once this started, it was never going to stop. And they kept saying, well, no, the Republicans don't want this type of stuff because I'm a Republican and I know I don't want this type of stuff. Well, guess what? The Republicans that are apparently running our government now, they want this type of stuff because they actually have a chance to get rid of it, and they're not. They're tweaking it instead of getting rid of it. I don't want it tweaked. I want it gone. I want it gone, period.
And that's the thing. I don't know what, they're afraid of some sort of political backlash? What could it possibly be? The Dems are going to scream their heads off and call them, heartless, racist bigots. They already do. Who cares? They're going to insult their intelligence. They already do. Who cares? The people that voted for them to have this majority and to put a Republican in office wanted what you were talking about, which was repealing. So what political backlash are they afraid of? That they might lose some Republicans over to the Democratic side that really did want to keep it? Well, boo-hoo. They didn't cost you this election. They won't cost you another one. It wasn't what you promised. And voters are going to, just like they revolted against, a very strong leftist agenda, they're going to revolt against Republicans having control and not following through on even pretending to follow through on what they said.
And it just amazes me because, look, honestly, I wouldn't have, even with what we're talking about right now, I wouldn't have near the issue that I have right now this moment if they had started with the idea of making it legal for insurance companies to work across state lines. Because I'm telling you, if they would have just removed everything from Obamacare, just got rid of all of it, and made that happen, that would have fixed most of the problems. But here's the thing that I don't think these people understand. When you're making huge changes like this, you can't make them all at once because you have to be able to gauge the changes. So Obamacare was a big mistake anyway because it made tons of changes all at once and nobody even understood how most of those were going to interact with each other until it was too late because we were too busy hearing, well, it's going to save you $2,500 a year for the average family. And if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Let me be clear. But, that's the thing. When you make changes like that, you can't make them all at once. You have to make them incrementally. And the first thing we should have done was scrapped Obamacare. The very next thing they should have done was made it legal for insurance companies to compete across state lines. Seen what that did with the prices, and then they could have started working back with this whole idea of, pre-existing conditions, etc. If there's something that we really need to do about that. I'm still on the fence with that too, because to me, insuring somebody with a pre-existing condition, depending on what it is and what's caused it, is no different than trying to give somebody insurance for their house once they've already set it on fire. I don't know. I don't know how all of that should honestly work, and I understand that it feels good to say, well, you're no longer excluded for pre-existing conditions, blah 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 blah. But we don't understand the damage that may cause further down the road. It's no different than this climate change stuff that they keep trying to shove down our throats sideways. We don't know enough about the science to tell me that the science is settled. And what annoys me about that is the same people that are telling me the science is settled with climate change don't seem to understand genetics. I'm so confused.
Yeah, they really tend to struggle with science and what they want it to be. And like pretty much everything else, they want to redefine words. And science is just another casualty on a long list.
That's all right. Eventually they'll spell it with an X and a Z and it'll mean something else completely different. It'll be like, science. And I'm like, what the hell's that? Never mind. Okay, so anyway.
By the way, I did want to say, did you see what Nancy Pelosi tweeted today? It had me gave me a nice little belly laugh. She was speaking out about the healthcare plan, and one of the things that she said was, the truth, ACA resulted from one of the most transparent drafting processes in recent memory.
So apparently transparent is one of those words they've already changed the meaning to and didn't bother to tell the rest of us. Because that was not transparent.
I know. Oh, I couldn't do anything but laugh. Oh, Nancy. You got to test it to find out what's in it.
And it would be funny, it really would, if our side wasn't about to do the exact same thing. And I still say our side, but I guess they're really not anymore. I guess I really am politically homeless. I need to figure that out because, that's one of the things that's been driving me crazy because now all of a sudden we're seeing all these tags about how the GOP needs to do this, GOP needs to do that. And, we need new people. If the people that are currently in Washington are going to do this, then we need to put new GOP members in the midterms. I'm done with both of them. I think it's time we start a new party and just leave these old people to fight it out amongst themselves while we're fixing stuff because I'm done. I am so mad right now. This is going to sound funny for those of you who know me, but I'm so mad I can't see straight. Which is kind of an all-the-time problem for me, which is why it's an inside joke. But anyway, I don't get it. We gave you guys everything you said you needed to fix this. The guy ran on Make America Great Again, told us he was going to repeal Obamacare at his rallies. But then on video with 60 Minutes, he's like, but we're going to make sure every American is insured. I don't care if it's an unpopular thing for me to say as a Republican or not. And nobody wanted to listen. And I'm over here screaming, if you really, really want to get rid of this stuff, you're backing the wrong guy. Well, shut up, you traitor. Shut up, you cuck-servative. You don't know what you're talking about. You're un-American. We're about to all be un-American because we're all about to have socialized medicine, and it's going to suck.
Yep. It's, unfortunately, I think it's an untamable beast now.
I'm sad. I really am.
I know. Well,
I held out hope that even with Trump, because Congress still does most of this stuff. Trump has to sign off on it. But if Congress, Ryan, would have actually done something useful instead of being the spineless little jellyfish that they are, we still could have made this stuff work and gotten rid of the mess that is Obamacare. But we're never going to get rid of it now. It's going to be here in one variation or the other. I'm not even sure what I'm going to call it yet. Because it's either GOP care, Trump care, Ryan care, or who cares? I don't know. But it's just, this is just crazy. Because you said you were going to do this if we gave you power, and you're not. I am so...
Well, and that's the thing about the Trump supporters is that at first off, calling it Ryan care and things like that, they tried to blame it on those terrible rhinos, those useless, spineless cucks that are in office. That is the reason why they needed a real man like Trump in there. And Trump came out and owned it today. He's a part of this. And they were losing their minds, which was a little bit funny to watch, I have to admit. But not at the expense of what it's going to cost this country.
There were a couple that I enjoyed the meltdown. I'm not going to lie. I actually saw a couple that were attacking me on a regular basis that were having absolute meltdowns. And I'm sitting over here going, please rewind to almost exactly a year ago when I told you this exact thing was going to happen, and you told me I was insane. And worse.
Yep, but no, that was different. Or they just they just ignore if they don't even already have me blocked.
Oddly enough, most of them don't block me. I mean, I get blocked by a few people, but I think it's mainly because, after a while, they'll, try to irritate me, and I'll just start ignoring them, so I think they assume I've blocked them, so they don't worry about it. I'm really good at not responding to things that annoy me, so... I've gotten better about it, for sure. Ain't nobody got time for that. Pretty much. So, actually, I think we are about up for a break. Yes, we are. Kind of a little thrown off because I'm looking at the clock going, wait a minute, we started late, so we need to take a break. All right, so we're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, this is the Jenn and Rick Show. We will be talking more about the debacle that will now be the albatross hung around the Republicans' neck, not the Democrats. Thanks, guys. And well, a few more crazy things that are going on in the news. We'll be right back here in about 4 minutes.
I'm not ready to end the fight. I'm not ready to back down. 'Cause I've been through hell and I don't have time to go round and round and round. It's too late to turn back now. You know I wouldn't if I could. 'Cause I'm proud as hell. I can't bring myself to do what it is you think I should. I'm not ready to end the fight. I'm not ready to back down. 'Cause I've been through hell and I don't have time to go round and round and round. It's too late to turn back now. You know.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
the fight. I'm not ready to back down, 'cause I've been through hell and I don't have time to go round and round and round. It's too late to turn back now. You know I wouldn't if I could, 'cause I'm proud as hell. I can't bring myself to do what it is you think I should.
All right, folks, welcome back. We're in the second half of the show, and this is the Jenn and Rick Show, where, unlike Congress, we don't cave like a bunch of spineless jellyfish. All right, so we're changing topics because otherwise I'm going to get really, really cranky. This one should be fun. There's a Day Without Women scheduled for tomorrow. Oddly, most of the women I know are refusing to participate.
Imagine that. I mean, what a bunch of spoiled brats. How silly is this? In a day and age and in a country that had a woman that just recently run for president, most people thought she was going to win the highest office in basically the leader of the free world, needs a Day Without Women to highlight, inequality and our importance in the world and to everyone in our lives by showing just how crappy it's going to be for them if we just didn't participate at all. They don't want us to go to work. They don't want us to buy anything. They don't want us to help anybody that is of I don't know, whatever gender identifies as male, I guess, or is that only for people that are biologically male? See, it all gets kind of muddy when they change definition. So somehow that is supposed to be like in your face, girl power, and, really stick it to all you men out there for keeping us down. And I'm thinking, well, fire them all. Also, what a bunch, how entitled is that though? How many women that they're supposedly like fighting for, and they say, that this is so important. How many of them can really afford to just blow off work on a Wednesday?
Yeah,
Not many I know. So it shows you what entitled little brats they are.
It's interesting, though, because, I have an old friend who kind of has a message for all of these entitled, namby-pamby, wannabe feminists who think they can just stay home from work tomorrow and want to scream and yell.
Will you stifle yourself?
That's about all I got about that. I mean, look, seriously, we live in a day and age where, look, maybe I'm speaking out of turn. You're a woman, so call me on this if I'm wrong. But I thought we had fixed most of these problems that we're talking about. We now have women that are in the workplace. They're able to do most every single job that men can do. We have women flying fighter jets. There was a time when nobody ever thought that was going to happen, and we have women that fly fighter jets. We have women that are pretty much in every career field known to man. I'm not going to lie, half of them do the jobs better than we do. I'm not even going to try to pretend that we're the superior between the two genders, whatever, because that's not true. It hasn't been for a long time. But the thing about it is, it's not really that one is superior to the other. We're just different than each other. And we're different than each other for a reason, because we actually complement one another in certain ways. There are things where, like if you're, as someone who's married, I'm sure you've seen this, there'll be a problem that my wife and I are discussing, and I'll look at it one way and she'll look at it the other. But if we come together and actually kind of talk about it, then we'll kind of see each other's perspective, and it makes it easier to fix the problem. There are reasons we're different. I know people don't like this word, but we're different by design. What bothers me, though, is we have this entire generation now that are so entitled, or feel so entitled, that they think they can just not show up to work whenever they want to, and just be like, well, we're going to go protest because we're going to go protest because of womanhood or whatever. And I'm just like, it's a good thing that this isn't a company right now that employs a ton of people, because if I had anyone, and I mean anyone of the female persuasion that called in sick, or honestly even of the male persuasion that says, hey, I'm going to go hang out at this Women's Day thing, blah, 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 be like, you know what, just stay there. Don't come back.
Right. And it's funny, like I do work in an industry that can be pretty male dominant in some regards, and then it's women dominant on the other side. So like what you're talking about, like complimenting, I am about to, like I was saying, I'm going to go tonight, and there's going to be like a 40-person crew that's probably going to be mostly male. And the 2 people that are managing are women. And I can't imagine if I told them, like, sorry, guys, we've got to put your crap on hold and the job that you need to do and to work for, to pay, for your livelihood and for your families, because I'm going to sit over here and pout in the corner because I want you to know what it's like to survive in this world without me. I mean, it is just so incredibly disgusting to me. I just can't even stand it. And I'm like, so I'm going to go work, 18 hours straight, and on the day when I'm supposed to be taking off and really showing men what's what. I don't even understand the goal here. Like you said, that women are in all sorts of professions and they're at the head of them. They're running Fortune 500 companies. They are lead astronauts in space. They are doing everything that men do for the most part. And I just feel like it's insulting to the human race to act like there needs to be some sort of preferred treatment, or also just to have to make our presence felt by saying we're taking our toys and going home and hope you don't function without us. I mean, the goal here is to say that, see, the world can't run without women, so there. And it's incredibly childish. I just can't get over the immaturity of it. I don't see what good it will do.
Well, the biggest problem is, they tried that whole idea with the day without illegal aliens that they termed the day without immigrants, because they thought the entire country would just grind to a halt. Funny thing is, it didn't. Kept right on chugging.
No, it did not. And also, I was going to touch on being a woman boss. If I had women, and thankfully I don't really have anyone to worry about tomorrow, but if I had women that said, I can't come and do my job because I'm going to honor this day without women, I would say, okay, bye-bye and see you later. Have a good life.
You're like, okay, so,
I mean, it's just not acceptable.
Be like, okay, so Wednesday was your day without women, Thursday's your day without job. Bye.
Exactly.
I mean, again, it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the show. I don't understand how we've gotten here. We are one of, if not the best country on the planet. And I'm not saying that because I'm some nationalist guy who thinks America's going to rule the world, whatever the case may be. I'm saying it because I actually believe it, because we were a very free country. That seems to be changing, and people are changing it of their own volition, which is the part that really scares me. People are willingly giving up freedom for the illusion of security. I mean, we're literally talking about people missing work because they want to protest. We're talking about, in the news, our devices that have become a part of our everyday lives may or may not have been turned against us and being used by government agencies to keep track of things that we're saying, doing, where we're going, etc. And everybody's talking about it like it's no big deal. It's like, meh, well, they're a part of our lives now, so there's not really too much that we can do about it. Well, first of all, it's like 2 years ago, if a paper had printed a story like this online or not, they would have been laughed out of existence. And now it's all over the place, and people are just like, yeah, whatever, no big deal. So what? The CIA spying on us using our smart TVs. So what? They're turning our cameras on our cell phones without telling us and recording everything that we're saying and doing. Oh, they're doing the same thing with our laptops? Oh, who cares? Look, even if this is still just one of the things that are kind of outside the realm of that are just kind of floating around and just now starting to happen, the fact that people are talking about this now and talking about it in multiple publications, and you go and you look at the comment section, and the biggest comment of the day is, I'm not surprised. I have a problem with that. I mean, we're talking about things that we depend on being turned against us on a regular basis. These are the same people that are telling us that we need to trust them to make our healthcare better.
Or trust them to basically, for a lot of these people, they want to trust them to do everything, pretty much. I mean, it's amazing how much people are willing to be controlled.
It just reminds me of the whole idea of people being sheep, because that's truly what they are. Because as soon as somebody steps in and has a modicum of power and starts telling them what to do, they're just going to go along to get along. I mean, look at what's going on with Congress right now. There are 4 4, maybe 5 people that are standing up saying this isn't what we got elected for, and everybody else is like, sit down and shut up. It'll be okay. We're just going to fix the few things that we think should have been done different. We're going to put our name on it. Then Trump's going to go fight it, and we're all going to be great.
It's kind of one of those things that, like, I'm okay with it. Not me personally, but I mean the way people tend to kind of view things. The people that are in power are not okay with it when they're not, and they're okay with similar things when they are, as long as they're the ones controlling. And then there are people that are not okay with the other party being in charge and being able to control very similar things that they're totally fine with when it's their party doing it. So, everybody's definitely like a do what I say, not as I do type thing. And it's really discouraging how many people are okay with this kind of thing as long as the person they like is the one doing it.
And that drives me crazy. That literally drives me crazy because I feel like I'm watching politics morph into the world of do as I say, not as I do. Because they tell us one thing, we elect them, and they do something else. It takes me back to something that I've said over and over again that I thought maybe, just maybe, we were getting away from. But politics has become nothing but a brand war. Because whether you're voting for the guy that's got the blue tie on or the guy that's got the red tie on, no matter what, when they get there, they're going to do the same stuff. Every single time anymore. Every time. Yeah. They tell us one thing, it's the only thing that honestly changes when we give power over from one side to the other is where the flow of money goes. The left special interests get their taps basically plugged whenever the right gets in power, and then their special interests, the money flows to them instead. And now the scariest thing is if you actually look at some of the people that are the special interest groups that are funding the DNC and the RNC, they're the same groups.
Well, and that's, we have all said for a long time that, that basically the two parties have gravitated towards each other as far as the more moderate sections of both parties that do, hold a pretty decent amount of power, and how they've become more and more mirror images of themselves. And that is becoming painfully obvious now.
I'm literally flabbergasted because, we had a chance to fix this mess. Because there are still positive things that are going on in the news. We just had ExxonMobil, I think, just announced like the potential creation of like 45,000 jobs or something. It's not going to matter though. If you give control of the government, if you totally give them control and access to healthcare, which is what this is going to do, because this was our shot to fix it, and we blew it. Now we have people that are like, oh my God, because of everything that's going on, we think it's important that we show how important women are, etc. So we're going to take a day off work just to prove to you that you can't exist without us. Okay, well, first of all, some of us understand biology, so I understand that I can't really exist without a woman because a woman is part of what brought me here. But it takes two to tango, folks. So you can't just be like, well, you can't survive without women. Well, you can't really make babies without a guy either unless you're going to bust out the turkey baster. Just saying.
Oh, #science.
I'm so over all of it. It's nothing but a bunch of political maneuvering. It's nothing but a bunch of mind games. And now the group that was fine when Obama was talking about doing all the things that now they're talking about doing through the, I think what did they call it now? The American something or other. It's still going to be called the ACA by the time they're done with it. They're just changing a couple. They're changing the front word, and it's American, but I don't remember exactly how it all comes out. But they were fine when Obama was talking about doing all this stuff. Trump is talking about doing much the same thing. And the scary thing is, he passed all this stuff through executive order to get rid of the mandate. All they're doing through this ACA thing is they're making the mandate the responsibility of the insurance companies. They're now going to be able to fine people up to 30% of their overall premiums in the event that they have let their insurance lapse for a period of more than or equal to or greater than 2 months within a 12-month period. So they're not going to have the government fining you for it anymore, so it can't be considered a tax. But now they're going to give the insurance companies the power to basically hit you with a 30% fee anytime you let your insurance lapse for longer than a month at a time in a calendar year.
All of it. All of it is just so disappointing and so frustrating. And, like we said before, I just don't see how we're going to get out of this now.
We're not. That's the thing that we all need to come to terms with. At this point, we are not ever going to escape this. It's going to become no different than Social Security, which is exactly what we were saying all the way back in 2008, 2009, 2010. Obamacare is here to stay. There's not going to be anything that anybody's going to be able to do about it. And then somebody with an R behind their name saw everybody screaming about it. They're like, no, we can fix it. I promise. Hold my beer. Well, guess what? We held your beer, and now you're giving us the same crap with a different label.
Hold my beer is one of my favorite phrases when talking about people screwing up. Oh gosh, this Republican Congress is already such a disappointment, and there's not really much that. And unfortunately, that I think for people on the right, there's not much that was more important than this. I mean, there are a few things. You can talk about immigration. You can talk about a couple of things here or there. But this is one of the doozies. And to have had the better part of a decade to get something ready, even if they were going to replace it with something else, this is what they came up with is completely unacceptable and really ridiculous.
You know what this version of the ACA is? This is the kid that knew he had a term paper. There was one in every college classroom. The teacher hands out the syllabus on the first day of school that says, by the way, at the end of this period, at the end of this class, you will turn in a term paper. You're expected to start working on it now because you already know it's here. You're going to learn the material as you go, so I expect you to add to it, fix it, clean it up, make sure it's ready to go at the end of the semester because it's going to be 85% of your semester grade. There's always that one guy that's like, oh no, it's no problem. Hey man, let's go do beer pong Friday night. You down? Dude, I'm gonna start working on this paper. Oh, come on, man, beer pong. I know, come on. You know you want to play some. No, man, it's all right. And then he's the one that's frantically running around for 3 weeks right before the end of the semester, going, "Hey, can you help me get this put together real quick? Because I never really expected the semester to go by so fast, and now all of a sudden it's due, and I don't know what to do." And that's what this version of the ACA is. It's a bunch of things that they sat down and they hurriedly scratched out on napkins and said, "Here, this looks good. Throw it all together." At least they'll think we've done something. They didn't do anything. Okay, so we're talking about better part of a decade. I'll give them even a little bit less time. 5 years. They've known for 5 years that they wanted to get power back because they were supposedly going to make this stuff go away. So they've had 5 years to put something together. 5 years, and they've done nothing.
Yeah, like I said, it's so disappointing, and it's the reason why so many of these people, part of the reason why so many of these people voted for Trump, and that, he had such a win in November, and they are, I'm afraid, as fickle as they were about people that had, pretty proven conservative records and that had been in Congress for years, and how quickly they turned on them and, called them rhinos and squishes and all that kind of thing. I can't imagine how, once they get over, dear leader going astray, once they kind of reconcile and mourn that, how they're going to turn on the entire Republican Party now.
No, and well, I mean, honestly, I'm not sure some of them are going to be able to do it. Because the biggest problem that they're going to have is, at the helm of this thing is still going to be Lord Cheesy Poof. And they cannot turn against him.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a real problem, especially for how hard they basically fell for him. I mean, in some ways it was very much like how you see a teenager have a really desperate crush on somebody and how they just can't let it go, and they scribble their name all over their notebook, and it doesn't matter what they do or say, they still have some sort of undying devotion to that person. And that's kind of what I saw with a bunch of people with Trump, and they justified and rationalized pretty much everything. And so I think there is going to be quite a bit of that. But I have seen a few that were pretty diehard that are already starting to turn. It started with some things, the first couple weeks, and then coming out with this is kind of starting to put the nail in the coffin for them and their undying devotion to Trump.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Most of them are still, they're still sitting at their desk, dreamingly writing in their notebook, putting their last name or putting Trump's last name after their first name. But they're sobbing now uncontrollably while they're doing it.
Because he got a new girlfriend.
Like, how can you do this to me? We were perfect together. You told me you were going to do this, and now you're doing that. And I'm screwed. I'm just going to go hang out with the Day Without Women.
Oh, man. I think that it would be great if... we already are pretty good at co-opting hashtags. And so I have a feeling tomorrow we're going to see a lot of women posting pictures from their job and, purchasing things and doing things otherwise they're not supposed to do according to the Women's March and this hashtag campaign. So I think that should be pretty entertaining and also really awesome to show, what real women do, which is fulfill their obligations, work hard, and, make this life for themselves, not what someone else gives to them.
So I have a really evil thought in regards to that, and you guys you women that will be doing what you feel you must for tomorrow can either take this idea or leave it. So they're going to do the hashtag Day Without Women, right? How about you guys do hashtag Day Without Whining? Woohoo!
That's pretty good. I think I will use that a bit. I think I will.
All right, so on that note, we are just about out of time. Anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I promised all these women this isn't going to make a dang bit of difference, and you'll make some headlines, and there will be feel-good news stories about it, but it's all crap. It's all a whole bunch of crap, so still got to do what you got to do on Thursday, no matter what you did, no matter what you do tomorrow. So I just don't understand. I don't understand it.
Some of them might be trying to file for unemployment come Thursday.
That may be the case.
Just to make sure that we're clear, so you're saying that a Day Without Women will do absolutely nothing for this new menstrual equality movement?
I don't think it's going to have the effect intended. No, I don't.
Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. Kind of been a running theme for the last few shows, so I found a way to throw it in. All right, so we are going to get out of here, folks. Here in just about 5 minutes or so, I should be back with the America Off the Rails show a little bit later than usual, but we will run through the show in its entirety. And, of course, you are welcome to hang out with me if you choose by following along on Twitter at AOTR_host. Or if you are old school and like to talk through email, because I'm old, I kind of like email too, you can shoot me an email at rick@klrnradio.com. And I actually beat you to it, so why don't you take us out by telling folks where they can hang out with you when you're not working 18-hour days and ignoring your fellow women who are like, please, we need you to stay home tomorrow. Bitch, I got an 18-hour day. Shut up.
This is what real women do. You can find me on Twitter at JHolmstead, on Facebook, JR Holmstead, and check out MisfitsPolitics.com.
All right, folks, we are out. Have a great night. We will do everything we can to be back here on Thursday because we do have, I do believe, a very special guest coming back with us Thursday night. Mr. JD from Game On with JD and Stacy has promised me that he's going to hang out with us on Thursday. If he's not here, I'm going to send somebody to California to go find him. But on that note, we are out. Again, I'll be back here in just a few minutes with America Off the Rails. We'll talk some more about this whole Day Without Women stuff, delve a little bit more into the whole did the Russians do this, and some pretty compelling evidence that they may not have. and a lot of other things that have been going on in the news. Maybe even an interview or two from CPAC. Still working on getting that stuff squared away. We'll be right back here in about 10 minutes or so. Actually, I'm going to try to do 5. So hopefully right about 10:20 we should be live again. So go grab yourself a drink. Get yourself comfortable. Take your iPad to bed because I know it's late. But you still want to listen, so just listen while you fall asleep. I've been told I'm a good cure for insomnia, so it might work. All right, so we're out, folks. Take care. God bless.
I'm not ready to end the fight. I'm not ready to back down. 'Cause I've been through hell and I don't have time to go round and round and round. It's too late to turn back.